Well, come on in out of that cold, snowy weather that we're having today. Well, actually, I think it was in the 60s today. Probably going to be in the 60s tomorrow. But anyway, come on in. Let's take a look at your inspection report. So stay with me. Okay, now let's take a look at the inspection report and see how it reads out. This is a generic report. This is exactly what you will get, only your information obviously will be filled into all these blanks. The upper right-hand corner of the report is the legend. Each one of these initials pertain to something. A is consistent with the age of the chimney. B, see comments below. C, repairs needed. D, need further evaluation. Or E, not applicable. And they're placed into the boxes next to the parts of the chimney that can be easily identified in this diagram. And then, of course, you'll find my comments here below. Now, let's take a look at your personal report. So stay with me. Hey, Jack, it was great to see you out at the property today. What a beautiful house, by the way. Great location, too. Let's take a look inside. So we can see it has a working set of vented gas logs. Now, these vented gas logs are simply sitting on top of a gas log lighter. What that means is you operate it with a traditional key valve here. And when you turn the gas on, you better have your BIC lit and stuck in there so that it'll turn on, because there's no controller and there's no pilot. So that's the way these things are built. And when you leave the room, you always take the key with you so somebody else doesn't either turn it on, turn it off, turn it on when no one's around, and fill the house up with raw gas. So that's the reason there's a key valve there for you. Hey, no damper in here. This house was built before dampers were invented. Don't need a damper with vented gas logs, because if you had a damper, if we installed one for you, we'd have to block it open, rendering it useless anyway. You want to take the glass doors off, George? Well, let me say this about that. That's all that's keeping the energy from the house from venting up the chimney and causing you a lot of discomfort and a loss of money. What a better solution would be maybe to replace the glass doors with a nicer set, and then you'd be all set. The other alternative would be to switch those gas logs out for vent-free. If you install vent-free gas logs, we could put a piece of sheet metal in just above the logs, and that way all the heat would come into the house. You could get rid of the glass doors, and you'd never lose any heat or air conditioning up the chimney, because it would be sealed off. The downside is, once the doors were gone, you'd have a little hood here to deflect the heat away from the wood products. On vent-free gas logs, the heat doesn't come straight out like you might think. It goes straight up, which means it would overheat the mantle, and you need a certain amount of clearance, which you don't have, and so your installer would have to install a hood. Can be a little confusing, George, so give me a call with your questions, okay, my friend? Up on top, we can see it's got a chimney cap that's been up there for a long time. It's got a lot of character to it. Hey, it's got a screen on both ends that's keeping the creatures out. We look down here at the flashing. Somebody's taken some duct tape and gone in, across the tops in some areas there where I think they may have had a leak at one time, may still be leaking. Might be something you should have a roofer take a look at. When we see tape of any sort on flashing where it doesn't belong, it's always a red flag that maybe you should have a professional roofer take a look at it and make sure you're not having any problems. George or Jack, either one of you, give me a call with questions, please. 704-526-6348. You can email me at chris@affordablesweep.com. Thanks.